Well, Champions Day may be behind us, but Sha Tin rolls on with 11 races coming up this Sunday. Welcome to Racing to Win. Big show coming up and a very special guest is going to join us on the program shortly. In the studio, we've got Paul Ully and Tom Wood. Tom, hello to you. And what are some of the highlights this weekend?
We've got 11 races. Mark, hello to you and to everyone. Of course, the Queen Mother Memorial Cup is the main event. Obviously, all the trophies are very good here in Hong Kong, but this is one of the ones that stands out. 2,400 metres, and there's only 6 runners in it, and Tony Cruz has got half the field.
He does. He saved them for this week, taking them out of last week, Paul, and we'll discuss that race later in the show. But can the jackpot hunters like what they're about to hear?
No, there's no. There isn't any jackpots actually. But as Tom said, 11 races. We've got the Griffins running around, and we've seen a little bit of form now with the Griffins having their first one. This will be the second one for the season. And it's a couple of good up-and-coming horses like Hong Lok Golf coming up on the card as well. So we're going to see some good horses running around.
We certainly will. Here are the meeting details for Sha Tin. It's an earlier start time with the extra race, all on the turf, and the railers in the B course position. The 2 races we'll focus on after the break. The Class 2 over the 1600 and the Group 3 Queen Mother Memorial at 4:05 Hong Kong time. But it's time now to welcome to Racing to Win our very special guest, Group 1 winning jockey, Hugh Bowman.
Fast Network is speeding away. He's just a fast horse. Fast Network has bolted in. It's Ching Ching Glory. He's going to win the Centenary Bars. Red Line kicking over Voyage Bubble. Red Line, Voyage Bubble. What a finish. It's Red Line number 10. It's Hugh Bowman at 90 and 11.
And very pleased to say the man of the moment who rode Red Line to victory last week joins us on Racing to Win. Hugh, welcome to the show. You must be loving Champions Day. Invincible Sage last year, and you've done it again this year with Red Line.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me on the show. It's yeah, well, if I had my time again, I might have won the mile last year on Red Line. So I'm pleased John and his team could get him back to the same race in the same order. And we were able to go one better than running second to the stablemate last year, Beauty Eternal. But look, he's an ultra consistent horse. He's always gives his best, and he's I've got to know him a bit, having ridden him a few times now, and you know, I rode him confidently, and I expected a very strong performance. I'm not going to say I expected him to win, but it was really no surprise.
You turned for home. Voyage Bubble's looming up on your outside. At what stage did you think I'm still a chance of winning this race, because it was such a thrilling battle between the pair of you?
Yeah, it was tight, wasn't it? The last time his nose was in front was on the line, but it's the only time it really needs to be. But it was a little bit tactical in the early stages. He's a brilliant gates horse. He's always first out. And, you know, as I alluded to last year, I sat off Zach, who led on Beauty Eternal, and he controlled the speed, and I was confident in the run that Red Line could outsprint Beauty Eternal. But he's proven to me that he's not a sit and sprint horse, despite the fact he travels like he can really quicken. He can't. And so with that experience and knowledge, I rode him a little more assertively. And to answer your question, you know, I was well aware that I had Voyage Bubble to my outside, amongst others behind us, but I was more concerned about just keeping Red Line in a good, comfortable, even rhythm. And once we sort of approached the home turn, I started to build the momentum. And once we balanced up in the straight, I went for home, knowing he could sustain that run. And when Voyage Bubble and James McDonald came to challenge at about the 250 metre mark and couldn't get past us, I thought, well, we really are in business. And yeah, it proved to be right. But it was a nail biter, not to mention the steward's room afterwards.
Of course. What was that like in the steward's room following the race? Was there a time you thought maybe you might lose it on protest?
Well, I was a bit concerned until I'd seen the film, because I knew there was slight contact, albeit minimal, and I also knew that I'd shifted out to meet Voyage Bubble, but I wasn't aware whether he'd shifted in either. So it wasn't until I saw the film and it was obvious that neither horse was affected, or rider for that matter, but by the insignificant contact, and I in my own heart was satisfied that the right horse, that there wasn't enough interference to warrant a turnover. But at the end of the day, it wasn't my decision, was it? It was the decision of the stewards panel, and I think the decision made was fair and just, and I think it was also accepted by the beaten party. So, yeah, look, there was certainly grounds there, and if I was in the James McDonald's shoes or Ricky Hughes, I would have done the same thing. But ultimately, I think the right decision was made, and Red Lion thoroughly deserved it too. So it was fantastic.
He'd been so consistent around the Group 1s from a short number of starts at the highest level. Hugh, there's an interesting stat about your records in winning Group 1s. They go back for quite some time, over plenty of seasons.
Yeah, I've had a good record in Group 1s over the years. I mean, I was a bit of a late bloomer. I was nearly 24 years old when I won my first ever Group 1. But we've managed to record one each season, each and every year since. Although it was a bit of a drought until the weekend, because I think my last Group 1 winner was in fact Invincible Sage on this day last year. So, yeah, look, it's been an amazing career though. I've been afforded some wonderful opportunities over the years, and couldn't have done it without the support of, I'm not going to single anyone out. It's been a long journey over many years, and it's been, I've had wonderful support, consistent support throughout the entire time by many owners and trainers, but no one more than my own family and Christine and the kids over the last decade, and my parents and other people prior to that. So it's not just about hopping on the horse and winning the race. There's a lot that goes in behind the scenes.
Well, it doesn't stop at Sha Tin. We're back there this Sunday. The boys are about to join us, Hugh, to talk through some of your rides, Tom and Paul.
Yeah, look, looking at one of your earlier rides, Hugh, Ferry horse for Casper Founds. You rode him last time he was in this grade, Class 5. You rode him in a recent gallop as well. Did he give you the feel like he's close to a win?
He always does, Paul. He gives you the feel of a horse who, should be in the middle of Class 4. So ability-wise, there's no question he's got the talent, but it's just trying to get him to win that elusive race. It's been a while, and, he wasn't disappointing the other day, but I'm not going to lie, we expected him to win, and he came up a bit short, but he's in good form. He galloped well, as you pointed out. He's a little bit of a headache in the barriers, and that's why he's had that extra barrier practice, but he seems to have matured a bit in that department, which is so important. And he got a clean break last time I rode him. If we can get that and get a good position, he's going well enough to win, particularly in this class. I'm hoping if he does get that win and the confidence from it, he can actually start to climb through the ratings, because he's certainly got more talent than where his rating lies at the moment.
Hugh, you've got Truly Fluke going around in race number 3 for David Eustace. His first run didn't look too bad. How's he come on since that run, and what about his recent trial?
Well, he trialled well recently. He's a beautiful horse. I think I was really impressed with him first up at Sha Tin. He steps out again with a much better draw. If you compare him to Ranjet, who I rode last weekend also for David Eustace, he too drew wide first up, and we rode conservatively, and he ran really well first up, and again with a wide draw last weekend we rode him back to finish on. And David and I were both of the impression that he could have finished maybe a little bit closer, but this horse is a little bit in the same boat. He's still learning his craft. He's still young and immature, but the advantage he does have is a good draw. He's got the speed to just lay up, behind the pace somewhere in a comfortable rhythm. And whether he wins or loses this weekend, I'm extremely confident he'll run well, and he'll certainly continue to develop as the season goes on.
You've also got, of course, a 5G patch in the Queen Mother Memorial Cup. Obviously, it's a Group 3 race, but the rating spread 98 to 82, and he has to shoulder top weight. How do you think he's going to fare over the 2,400 metres at handicap conditions?
Well, the conditions, with the exception of the weight, really suit this horse, and he's one of these horses that falls into a category that he doesn't get many winning opportunities as far as races go to run in, because of the distance that he likes to race at and where his rating lies. I mean, he's not going to compete he's not going to beat the genuine Group 1 performers at set weights over any distance, but get him into this sort of race and, you know, he certainly can make his presence felt. But as you point out, he's got to carry the full impose. But if it's run to suit, he's capable of doing it, but it just opens it up a bit more.
Family Jewel, one of your rides later in the day, race number 10 for Family Jewel. He steps up to 2,000 metres. I know you won on him over the 16 and ridden him over the 18 as well. How do you think he'll go over the 2,000?
I think he'll be fine. He's a very relaxed horse, and he's a horse in my. Well, I mean, you know how often Casper and I have joined up with a great deal of success over the last season or two. But this horse is one of the most exciting young horses in the stable, in my opinion. He's just. I actually thought he was the #1 Derby seed for the stable earlier in the season, but his development and maturity just didn't allow him to get there in time. So Casper's given him a bit of time since then, and he won with authority last weekend, and he now backs up over 2,000 metres. So I think he's an exciting horse, and, you know, from what I can tell, there doesn't appear to be any exceptional opposition in the race. But that said, this horse does have to back up, and he has to, you know, step up to the 2,000 metres and do it. But I think he's got the temperament and the condition and the platform to do it.
Huey, just before we let you go, the Apples sign, your signature move when they win. We've said it 58 times this season and countless times. How did it start? How did it come about?
Good question. Well, I was up at the farm, my hometown of Dunedoo, and my cousin Stuart had been up working in the middle of Queensland on a cattle station, and all the boys at home were doing it. And over a few beers one afternoon, I said, "Look, I'll put this on the map for you fellas," and that's how it was. That's how it started. So it wasn't me who invented it. It was actually my cousin and my mates at home, and that just grew from there. Or it didn't grow. It is what it is. It stayed what it is. I've just done it more often on camera rather than in the paddocks.
Well, hopefully you can do it plenty more times. It's been a great season so far, and best of luck out at Sha Tin on Sunday.
Yeah, it has. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
And a big thanks once again to Hugh Bowman for giving us plenty of time here on Racing to Win. We're off to a break right now. Back to look at Sunday's racing right after this. Welcome back to Racing to Win. Sha Tin Sunday is now our focus on trying to find a winner, and we head straight, Paul, to your last run reminder, and today you're coming in peace.
Oh yes, really good run here from Spirit of Peace. You can see the start where he actually misses by quite a significant amount, and look, he put on a little bit of a radio act there, but he got right to the back. You know, his race was over at this stage. He was 5 or 6 lengths last. And that was it. You didn't have to worry about him. Keep an eye on for this next start. But look what he did. You can see him out the back there. He comes wide, and he just really finishes off strongly. And at about the 200-metre mark, I know in the commentary, Mark, you actually, I think, a little bit surprised to see him because when he was coming down the outside, and he actually features in the finish. He ends up running third. So, look, he's got to do everything right with the big weight once again. But, look, it was a tremendous finish from him, and he looked very unlucky not to win this contest, as you can see, finishing off there in third.
You're right. I'd double check it was him on the outside after he made a mess of the start. So Spirit of Peace is the last run reminder for Paul. He is race 9, number 1. On we go now to race number 4. This is a Class 2, and it has encountered at the top of the book. Two-time course and distance winner, Mickley. He ran 8th in the Derby last time. Steps ahead, extra £6 on his last start placing. Snowfields only had the 2 starts. Flamingo Trillion has the cheek pieces going back on. Just the 8 runners here, Paul, so smallish field. Who leads them up?
Well, Pray for Mur likes the lead, so I think he's going to go to the front there. Flamingo Trillion, another one that can go forward. Steps ahead, went forward his last night. The only time he went back was in the Derby when he drew wide. Honglock Golf, who's winning them in a row at the moment, he should get the good run with the Golden Century. Encountered can go forward or back. From barrier 8, I think he'll go back with Snowfield, and Mickley likes to come from behind.
Our first replay, Tom features steps ahead, and here he is running second. Pray for Mur ends up running third in this race. This was race 606 back on the 20th of April. The race won by California Totality, who was very heavily backed.
Yeah, he certainly was. Obviously, with some Derby form there, California Totality. And Pray for Mer was up on the outside here of the speed, and you had Voyage Samurai up there. And he kicked really strongly. He did Pray for Mer, but I think Steps Ahead is a must for this race as well. The way he ran here last start, Paul, only went down a short head, only just missed it, but does go up £6 for that.
Yeah, he does. Look, he's had 2 goes over these 1,600 metres, and I think that's a really good distance from now. He went up as far as the Derby distance, but the 16 looks good for him.
You mentioned at the start of the show, Paul, there's some promising horses in at this meeting. This is one you did reference, Honglock Golf. Can you see any reason why he can't win again?
I can't, no. Stepping up to the 1,600 metres, he's by Grunt out of a High Chaparral mare, so there's the stoutness breeding-wise. The way he races, he looks like he can easily get the 1,600 metres as well. He's only been beaten once in his whole career, and he was very unlucky on that occasion as well. So I think he can go on with it, Tom.
He really dug deep here and obviously beat Lightyear's Charm, and he was the 1.9 favourite. So if you did back Honglock Golf, you got juicy odds at 4.8 there, and I think he can definitely win again.
This is what he's done. Tom, he could, with an ounce of luck, be unbeaten.
Yeah, just for that one run where he was beaten, of course, and wasn't beaten too far there in race 416, of course, behind Righteous Arian, who was a little bit of an upset in that race. He
was indeed. Off to Chungfa now. Tom Mickley has had a trial up there. He's been a busy horse since he's arrived, and he lines up again this week. He's a member of the John Sire stable with Zach Purton on board.
Looked really impressive early on in his career when he was able to strike, but the form certainly tapered off leading up to the 4-year-old series where he was 5th behind My Wish in the mile, and then the form really went south. So sort of hard to get a gauge at the moment, Paul, where he's at the moment, Mickley.
Well, back in February, he had blood in the trachea, substantial amount of blood in the trachea. So I just wonder if everything's internally right with him. That was be my little concern with him. But yeah, that's why I left him out.
Golfing?
Going golfing. We'll go golfing. Honglock Golf, for me, he's on top. See if he can continue his winning ways. Some Steps Ahead, Snowfield and Pray for Mer. 5, 4, 6, 8.
Very similar numbers there as well. On top is Honglock Golf for Chris So. Obviously, in an interview earlier in the week, suggested this was certainly a horse to bear in mind for next season, that he thought was probably the most progressive in his stable. So Honglock Golf, Steps Ahead, Pray for Mer and Snowfield for Matthew Poon and Mark Newnham.
That is race number 4. Stand back. We're not done. Race number 8 is about to be previewed now. It's the running of the Group 3 Queen Mother Memorial over the 2,400 metres. 5G Patches placed 3 from 6 over the 2,400. Winning Dragon, he was a winner over 2,000 metres. He has his first go at the trip. Bundle Award, he ran in the Derby and then ran 4th, a touch unlucky behind California Totality. Noisy Boys had a start over 2,400 in Australia, ran 8th in the Australasian Derby at Randwick. And Bravehearts was a Group 1 2,400 metre winner in Argentina before arriving, Paul. He
did. Look, Winning Dragon, I think he can go forward, stepping up to the 2,400 metres here. Noisy Boy has led in some of his races, but they weren't keen to lead leading into the Derby, so I just wonder if they'll be happy to take a trail here. Last City Blanche went forward when winning over this course and distance. Bundle Award, Bravehearts, and then back to 5G Patch.
OK, we move on now to some replays, and we're going to start, Tom, with Winning Dragon, Bravehearts, Last City Blanche, Bundle Award and 5G Patch, so we can get a good guide on a number of these runners here.
Yeah, we certainly can, and obviously in this race you had Winning Dragon down on the inside to there, and he wasn't really able to go on. He has won over the 2,400 metres overseas. You can see Last City Blanche back on the inside, Paul. He won this race last year. I think he was probably going a little bit better at this point last season than he has been going this season. He did win this race off a rating of 90. He's 8 points higher than that at the moment.
Yeah, look, I've got him in, but not on top for that reason. Bravehearts, I do like the fact he comes in with 119 pounds, won overseas over the 2,400 metres. So I think that's real positives coming from Bravehearts.
He settled back next to, of course, in that race, Last City Blanche, and it was a good run down the outside. So the lightweight handicap conditions brings him right into this.
He has won 3 from 6 this season, has Bravehearts. This is the Queen Mother Memorial from last year, Paul. 5G Patch and Last City Blanche. The two coming back to try and figure again, with Last City Blanche looking for back-to-back wins in the race.
Yeah, so look, I'll include him, but obviously this is his go. 5G Patch, he's been a little bit disappointing recently, and he does have to carry the 135, so that was the concern I had with 5G Patch.
And both of these two horses at least minimum have to give £10 to a Winning Dragon plus for the rest of the field here. And I thought he ran on all right last time out, 5G Patch, so I was willing to entertain him on a minor line. Obviously, Tony Cruz won this race as a jockey. He's won it 4 times as a trainer, so he's looking to win it again for a 5th time, and he's got half the field to do it.
He does, and he has quite a good record on 5G Patch too. Now, some track work videos coming up for us, Tom, and we start with the aforementioned 5G Patch.
As I said, I thought he ran well last start. He was home in 22.09 for his last 400 metres. That was over 1,800 metres, so the extra distance, I think, is a big plus for him. He's just got to overcome the weight barrier. Paul, and his track work here with Last City Blanche, who, as I said, I just thought he was in a little bit better form last season.
Yeah, he was. He's not the biggest horse around Last City Blanche, but the 2,400 metres is probably the key for him coming back to this trip as well. And we can see Winning Dragon there moving nice enough. Again, a little bit of an unknown for him over the 24.
He was a winner over the 2,400 metres overseas, so if he can bring that sort of form here with only 125 on his back, he's definitely not the worst. Braveheart's here as well. He's having a good hit out, and Mark Newton was aboard in this piece of work, and he's another one of these South American horses, Paul, that there's going to be no concerns with the trip, I feel.
No, and look, he had a spell. He came up with that run that he's had, so he's coming into it cherry ripe.
Noisy Boy Paul didn't have any luck at all during the 4-year-old series, but he is a winner since arriving in Hong Kong. He beats Winning Dragon, Braveheart's here. He just adds to the small fields.
He does look at 2,200 metres winner already at Happy Valley for this horse, and 2,000 metres at Sha Tin. So, look, he does look like a star. There's no questions there. Barrier 4, I think he can get a nice run just in behind.
Yeah, this was when he was able to gun down Winning Dragon here over the final stages. He has been up and trialled since up at Chung Fa. Of course, went through a couple of legs of the 4-year-old series behind Ruby Lott and Cap for and if everything went his way, and maybe if they tried to lead, he wouldn't be the worst.
This is a trial from Noisy Boy Tom up at Chung Fa, obviously way short of the distance he's going to run over on Sunday.
Yeah, down the back straight here at Chung Fa. You can see him back and buried on the inside there, but he's making good inroads. Jerry Chow did go up to Chung Fa and ride him in this bit of work up there, and just a maintenance hit out for him. Haven't seen him since the 23rd of March, of course, the Derby, so a little bit of a freshen up for him, Paul.
Yeah, look, and as you say, didn't have much luck in the Derby, did finish last there as it turned out.
That is Noisy Boy indeed. That is the field previewed for the Queen Mother Memorial. Paul, who wins it?
Bravehearts. I think he can, with the light weights, the real key for me for this horse. So he's on top. Bundle Award always looks like the 2,400 metres would be up his alley. Last City Blanche, last year's winner. And then in for 4th, Noisy Boy, 6-4-2-5.
Yeah, Braveheart's the one to beat. They did noticeably want to sit a little closer, I thought, with Bundle Award last time out, but it didn't quite work out for them. He was held up a little bit. Noisy Boy goes in, and 5G Patch as well. 6-4-5-1.
And all the races previewed on the website, hkgc.com. Click on audio and video. We've seen races 4 and 8 on the show, Paul, but out of the 11, which is your best?
I'm going to go with a horse called Dazzling Fit, race 9, number 5. He's only had the 2 starts. He looks ready to win. Does Dazzling Fit. And the player, first starter, race 3, number 9, Team Folks. He's had 3 trials, and he's looked good on those trials. And we'll do the play in race 6 with a QQP, 3, 7 and 8.
Best bet comes up in the 3rd, Call Me Gorgeous, Jimmy Orman, Francis Lloyd, dropping into Class 4 for the first time. Ran well 2 starts ago, caught wide last start. Rode a new page, has done a reasonable job from 3 starts. I think up to 1,600 is a big positive for him. And the 2,000 metre contest, Family Jewel, Enthralled and Gold Master.
The best bet going with Mr. Cool again, winner last time. Wide a draw barrier number 13, bit of extra weight, but he is fitter having had just the 2 starts. Fortune Boy race 6, number 9, Brenton Abdullah and David Hayes ran on okay last time, bit of extra distance this week for him. And the play race 7, a QQP 3, 6 and 13 in the 7th race. That has been Racing to Win. Pulling up the diary, we've got Happy Valley coming up on Wednesday night, French night out there, and then a Saturday meeting following that, Tom.
Yes, obviously the RDA Cup and French May comes up through the month of May, of course, Paul.
Yep, which is always a good and very popular meeting.
It is, but we're at Sha Tin on Sunday. Big thanks to both Tom and Paul. Big thanks to you also. A reminder, with the extra race, we get underway at 12:30.